All right, we have some breaking Eagles news early on a Friday as the Philadelphia Eagles have given Darius Slay and his agent Drew Rosenhaus permission to seek a trade. You're watching Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. So this report, broken by Diana Russini of ESPN just moments ago, that the Eagles have allowed Darius Slay and his agent Drew Rosenhaus permission to seek a trade. The Eagles are still hopeful to find a solution where Slay remains an Eagle. Has Darius Slay requested a trade? Because that can be confused with this current situation. According to Albert Breer, NFL insider, that is not the case because he took to Twitter to say that Darius Slay did not ask for a trade. So this is a part of these contract negotiations. It'll be interesting, he said, to see if he and the Eagles can work something out. Of note for Darius Slay, 32 years old, entering the final year of his contract, no guaranteed money on his deal, which is probably why the Eagles have given him permission to seek a trade or potentially a contract elsewhere to that acquiring team. Before we dive into this fully, appreciate all of you for watching. This is why you subscribe to the show. No other Eagles YouTube channel is going as deep, more in-depth, faster than we are, and when breaking Eagles news goes down, we're on it in a blink. So subscribe to the largest independently run Eagles YouTube channel. It's Philadelphia Eagles Now as we approach 50,000 subscribers. For Howie Roseman, for Darius Slay, for this Eagles organization, and to inform the fan base here, because that's part of our job. Keep in mind who you're dealing with. Drew Rosenhaus is a power agent, as we know. The former agent for Terrell Owens in the early 2000s, we know how that resulted, right? It was Terrell Owens during training camp doing curls and bicep curls in his driveway because at the time the Eagles didn't give him a contract extension. This is a strong-arm negotiation between Howie Roseman and Drew Rosenhaus. The Eagles, are they going to give Darius Slay a new contract? Do they think that Slay and his cap hit in 2023 is cost prohibitive to this Eagles organization? Do they have worries about a guy who's 32 years old looking to continue to stay as one of the highest paid cornerbacks in the National Football League? It's Howie Roseman, a great negotiator, against Drew Rosenhaus, also a great negotiator. So keep that in mind during these contract negotiations and during these trade proposals and trade discussions. As for Darius Slay's contract, back in 2020, after the Eagles traded for him with the Detroit Lions, and he's been really good since then, he signed a 3-year, $50 million contract. That gave him an average annual value of $16.5 million. In 2023, he has a base salary of $17 million. But the big number is right here. It's the cap hit of $26.1 million. The Eagles have 11 combined starters, offensively and defensively, who are going to be free agents. We know that Jalen Hurts at some point this offseason is going to get a monster contract, which could pay him somewhere in the neighborhood of $40, $45, $50 million. So they look at that number as a lot of money for a player who could be starting to decline a little bit at 32 years old. Darius Slay will be an unrestricted free agent in 2024, so for him, not only does he have no guaranteed money left on his deal, he has no financial flexibility or assurances beyond this upcoming season. Now, you take a look at the highest paid cornerbacks per year in the NFL, and Darius Slay, he's making pretty good money. He checks in at 8th on this list at $16.68 million, which is behind Jair Alexander, Denzel Ward, Jalen Ramsey, Marlon Humphrey, Marshawn Lattimore, Xavier Howard, Trey White. You have Slay there, right ahead of J.C. Jackson, who signed that deal last year with the Los Angeles Chargers, as well as Byron Jones. But Slay and Rosenhaus can make the argument that he might be 32 years old, but he outplayed and played better than a lot of the players ahead of him on that list who are locked up for the next couple of years. From Darius Slay's perspective, he's 32 years old. He's still playing at an all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber level. He wants to cash in one more time, and the Eagles probably are hitting pause on giving him a monster contract considering his age. Slay coming off a pretty good year, but it wasn't him who was a second-team All-Pro. It was actually his teammate in James Bradberry. For Slay this past year, 40 solo tackles, 14 pass breakups, 3 interceptions with an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 73.1. He did only allow 47 catches this past year. He put the clamps on Justin Jefferson earlier this season. He tallied 3 interceptions, did not surrender 100 total yards as a cornerback number 1 going up against a bona fide number 1 wide receiver, a Pro Football Focus overall grade of 73.1, and a coverage grade of 77.4. Now, what does this mean for the Eagles? Are they trying to clear up some money to bring back James Bradberry or C.J. Gardner-Johnson? We're going to have that conversation. Stay tuned for that, but first, want to hear from you down in the comment section. Should the Eagles trade Darius Slay? T for trade, K for keep. Certainly a fascinating topic at hand here. This is why the Eagles would trade Darius Slay. 32 years old. Do they want to extend and give premium money to an older player? He has that cap hit of $26.1 million in 2023. If they trade Darius Slay, there wouldn't be a sizable drop-off from him to James Bradberry, who's younger and would be cheaper. And with the Eagles equipped with 2 first-round picks at 10th overall and at number 30, this is a deep cornerback class. So they could bring back Bradberry for a cheaper price than Darius Slay, then draft a cornerback number 2 with the 10th pick or 30th pick, and still have a very good defensive line that can generate a pass rush on the opposing quarterback to make the secondary's job a little bit easier, and you're able to really absorb the blow of losing Slay, still one of the top cornerbacks in the sport. You can also elect to use some of that remaining money and invest in your pass rush. Why you wouldn't do the deal, though? This is a secondary that could have dramatic turnover heading into the 2023 season. He's still a very good cornerback in this league. And when we talk about the Eagles' locker room culture, Slay was named the team captain last year. And you saw how the team rallied around him if you saw the video in which they surprised him with that announcement. He's a great leader, still a top-tier corner in this league. The secondary going to have massive turnover because Slay could get traded. You still could lose James Bradberry. Marcus Epps is going to be a free agent. So too is C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And Darius Slay added to a special culture that's changing a lot. Not only are you losing a lot of players on this roster, you're potentially losing some cultural impact type of players, and that's why the Super Bowl loss hurts and is a kick in the stones, because the Eagles, it's going to be difficult for them in 2023 to have a roster that's this special with their camaraderie, with their continuity, and this talented and deep. Today's show is sponsored by Athletic Greens. I take AG1 every single day, and it sets the foundation for the rest of my day. If you're looking for a comprehensive solution to your daily supplement routine, AG1 is where it's at. You can check them out at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. The deal for the Fly Eagles Fly family, $20 off your purchase, 5 free travel packs for your purchase as well as a year's supply of vitamin D. This is a supplement that I really care about. I gave AG1 a try because given my work schedule at Chat Sports, combined with my training regimen as I'm closing in on 300 straight days of my running streak, I wanted and needed sustained energy and to stay healthy by keeping my immune system strong so that I can strive toward my professional work-life goals here at Chat Sports and my personal fitness goals. I've also really prioritized my health over the last couple of years. That's why I try to steer clear of chemicals and harsh ingredients, which is also why I love AG1 and it's 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. I mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water as we're showing you here. I drink it first thing each morning or before and after my workouts to get those added nutrients. I also love that something that's this good for you and prioritizing your health and wellness costs less than $3 a day. So if a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement and routine, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D, 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So head to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. Link available in the comment section and in the description of this video. Now, I thought that this was pretty interesting, right? There's the report from Diana Russini. There is the added contexture, I guess, from Albert Breer, right? But then there's this from Jeff McLean, who's been covering this team for a long time, has a good grasp of how Howie Roseman does business. He said Darius Slay is as good as gone. Never say never on a return, but I've seen this show before because the Eagles have entered these types of negotiations and these strong arm type of back and forths a couple of times over the last several years. And for me, what is the Eagles' plan here? As of right now, after the restructure of Jake Elliott's contract, they have about $8 million in cap space. I think that a lot of contract restructures are going to happen today on Friday and throughout the weekend, heading into the start of NFL free agency on Monday when the tampering period begins. But this Eagles defense was one of the best units in the NFL last year. And this defense is going to look a whole lot different this upcoming season. All of these players in the secondary alone could all be gone and elsewhere this upcoming campaign. Darius Slay could get traded. James Bradberry could sign with another team. So too could Chauncey Gardner-Johnson as well as Marcus Epps. But is Howie Roseman thinking this? And let's reset the stage here. Is this what Howie Roseman is thinking by potentially trading away Darius Slay? That if they get rid of that contract and that cap hit in 2023 of $26.1 million, that would allow the Eagles to re-sign James Bradberry for a fraction of the price, as well as C.J. Gardner-Johnson to be your future safety and building block at 25 years old, and then you're able to use either 10th overall or 30th overall in the upcoming NFL draft at the end of April on a cornerback at one of those 2 first-round pick selections. That's what Howie Roseman could be thinking. You're able to bolster and bring back some of those key players on defense while saving a little bit of money and getting a young premier prospect in the process. I don't think that there would be a massive drop-off between Darius Slay and James Bradberry, but Slay is a guy who you could put on an island, and like he did against Justin Jefferson earlier this year, he could put the clamps on him and lock him down. He is a one-on-one, man-to-man corner, whereas James Bradberry, more of a zone cornerback. But are the Eagles also anticipating that Sean Desai is going to be able to maximize this defense and be aggressive with getting after the opposing quarterback with their pass rush, once again making that secondary's job a little bit easier? Bradberry was really good last year. That's why he was a second-team All-Pro. 3 interceptions, 17 pass breakups, 3 more than Darius Slay. He had a better coverage grade than Darius Slay at 80 and a better overall Pro Football Focus grade of 74. That's pretty telling. Now, could Bradberry put up those similar numbers being cornerback 1 instead of cornerback number 2? We saw him struggle a little bit throughout the Super Bowl, and that's where I would have some concerns because I think Slay is a number 1 corner. I think that Bradberry is more of a 1B or a number 2 guy. But again, if you're saving money and drafting a young prospect, it could be smart at the end of the day for Howie Roseman and the crew. As for C.J. Gardner-Johnson, if the Eagles are able to bring him back, franchise building block and a cornerstone at 25 years old, and a guy who made a seamless transition from slot corner to safety this past year, tied for the NFL league high in 6 interceptions, had 17 stops, 56 solo tackles, 1 sack, 12 missed tackles, Pro Football Focus grade of 65.2. I think he was actually better than that. A coverage grade of 65.9. I think he was better than that. But 8 pass breakups, 5 tackles for loss on 458 coverage snaps. So if you trade Slay, you bring back James Bradberry, you draft a corner, and then you also have the money to retain C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I wouldn't have an issue with that plan if I'm Howie Roseman. This is what I do know. We're not sure what's going to happen with Slay. I do know that regardless, this defense is going to look a lot different. And also, is Howie Roseman thinking, look, we still got gashed by the Kansas City Chiefs. And in today's NFL, we have to go blow for blow with opposing offenses, and maybe with a lot of the collection of talent returning on the offensive side of the football, we're going to be able to win in a lot of shootouts. But this is why the Super Bowl loss hurts for Philadelphia. Rarely, if ever, are you going to have a team that's statistically one of the best offensively in the league, loaded with a bevy of premier offensive talent, and then also have one of the top-rated defenses in the NFL that led the league in sacks, that had the number 1 graded secondary in the NFL, and statistically was one of the best in the league. You're paying Jalen Hurts that looming contract extension, so this team moving forward, even though I have trust in Howie Roseman to get it right financially and get creative in manipulating the cap, simply is not going to be as talented and as deep as the 2022 season. And they don't have a Super Bowl ring to show for it. All they have to show for it is an NFC championship banner that'll be hung up at Lincoln Financial Field. But that's not the ultimate goal. So what is your level of concern with the Eagles heading into free agency on Monday and with this Darius Slay trade request on the table now? Scale it for me from 1 to 100. And if you want to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram, do so. I'm on Twitter at Chase_Senior, Instagram at Chase_Senior. If you have a question about the Eagles draft plans, free agency, or this topic at hand, a Darius Slay potential trade request, hit me up. We appreciate all of you for watching. Subscribe to the show. Have a good day.